Chapter 5 Southern Sumatra Archaeology and Art of Sumatra by Robert Heine-Geldern. The Art of Nias. The joint application of archaeological and ethnological methods enables us to conceive an idea of, of the art of the Neolithic quadrangular edge sculpture. It was closely connected with the megalithic system and still survives in many remote regions of southern India and Indonesia, especially among the mountain tribes of Assam and of northern Luzon and in the island of Nias. It is predominantly plastic and monumental and serves primarily the rise of ancestral cults, eschatological beliefs, and magic aims. The simple aesthetic delight in fanciful decoration of houses, tools, and weapons, so exceedingly prominent in the Dayaks and many other Indonesian peoples, seems originally to have been completely lacking here. Thus, truly ornamental elements play a very invaluable part in this art, and where they are found at all are of a very simple and purely geometrical nature. However, we find a great many symbols in these regions of megalithic monumental art, which to a certain extent serves as substitutes for ornaments. We may distinguish between magical symbols of fertility and wealth as woman breast and between memorials in the literal sense of the word. These memorials of success in war, hunting, and love, or of festivals and sacrifices, for instance cattle heads, are tokens which bring to him whose deedly they glorify credit and honor. They are meant to bear witness of the religious and magical merit the person has achieved by the above mentioned deeds, therewith securing him happiness and wealth during lifetime, and thereafter protection against the dangers threatening the soul, being a warrant for his safe entrance into paradise. Actually, they serve the same purpose as the megalithic monuments. They are used on wooden buildings and monuments as well as on stone memorials. Besides this symbol relief sculpture, plastic art in the form of statues of the deceased and other ancestral figures plays an important part in the megalithic monumental style of Southeast Asia. This style reached its culminating point on the island of Nias. The amazing perfection of the stone buildings and stone sculptures is remarkable indeed. This does not mean that Nias is lacking in primitive megalithic forms, but next to primitive menhirs and dolmens, we find exuberantly variegated and refined forms, and some which are quite new. This development had several different aspects in the various parts of the island. In southern Nias, architecture is predominant. Stone village walls, stone paved meeting places, stone steps leading up to more highly situated villages, all of them typical megalithic forms of Southeast Asia, have reached here an imposing shape of development. Some of the stairs, built of carefully smoothed stones, the stone side walls being decorated with relief sculptures, belong in the arcade simplicity to the most beautiful creations of Indonesian architecture. Figure 63. The stupendous technical accomplishment involved in the structure is shown by the fact that the stairs leading from the village of Orahili to Mataluo is built in 4 flights and consists 700 steps. In accordance with the artistic propensities of Sultanias, even the simpler megalithic forms, as menhirs and dolmens erected by men for their own benefit or to the memory of their dead, have been transformed into architectural works of art. The simple menhir has been converted into an obelisk, a polygon pillar, or a low stela ending in folds. The dolmen has become a round stone table or an artistically sharp bench, both called daro seat intended as memorials for the dead whose spirits they are meant to serve as resting places, though they are also used by the living as seats at council meetings or festivals. Figure 35. Into the smooth surface of the varnish of the monuments, menhirs as well as daro, a few but charming artistic symbolic ornaments are chiseled, frequently in the form of the Nias rosette on the Batu Islands, and in one case in South Nias, real thrones with armrests and backs have been found. On the outside of their backs are relief sculptures representing human figures or crocodiles. On the whole, the people of South Nias seem to have a great preference for stone reliefs. We find them on monuments, side walls of stone stairs, and even sometimes on simple pavements in the villages. Beside pure symbols and single figures, we meet with horse scenes. On one of the largest Daro for monkeys catching a shark are designed in a most lively manner. In North Nias, all of these large stone buildings, steps, paths, squares, bathing places and bastions, etc., seem to be very rare or even lacking altogether. In Central Nias, they have not changed much from the original megalithic form. Similarly, the obelisk, stone pillars, and steles show a more primitive development in the center and the north of the island. However, the development of the menhirs took here a very different line when they were converted into herme and stone statues. In outward appearance, they are still reproductions of the wooden ancestral figures, but their significance corresponds to that of the usual menhir. They too are erected as memorials or feasts of merit or by mourners for the dead. And just as the menhirs, they are meant to be back supports for the spirits of the deceased when they sit on the flat stone slabs lying before the statues. These slabs again correspond to the Daro of the South. Unfortunately, little is known as yet about the stone sculptures of Nias. Schroeder has published pictures of stone herme of a more than life-size statue found in the district of Moro'o in central Nias. This statue, in a strictly frontal setting, with a face reduced almost to geometrical outlines, is in spite of all its shortcomings and primitive execution, still remarkable for its really monumental qualities. In other parts of the island, we meet with more realistic and sometimes even grotesque forms. A characteristic sign of the plastic tendency of the art of Nias is found in the horizontal monuments sculptured as conventionalist figures of stags and hornbills, figure 62. Except for being hewn in stone, they are copies of wooden stretchers which are decorated with animal heads and are used to carry around at rituals of the horse of face of merit. Beside these, stone pillars with stone hornbill figures on the top doubtlessly reproduce wooden memorials. Nias is exceedingly rich in wooden carvings of human forms, for the greater part ancestor and guardian figures, figure 37. It is quite impossible to give here even an approximate idea of the multiplicity of these images and for their form and meaning. Moreover, this matter has been thoroughly investigated and the available reports are insufficient. The style of these figures varies from a strictly naturalistic detailed rendering of human forms to simple pulse with a superficial indication of eyes and mouth. According to Schroeder, the statues of the south are distinguished by round plastic forms and a polished surface. In Central Nias, the images seem to be more simplified, sometimes even to the point of mere geometrical forms. The carvings of the north are chiseled, according to Schroeder, in a more level and less plastic manner. All of these images are naked, though they wear ornaments and frequently headgears. Many of the ancestral figures hold cups with both hands, thus calling to mind the megalithic beaker statues of Eastern Europe, the steppes of Siberia, and Central Asia. The hammer-like figures are most epithelic. Many of the full-length figures, as well as the hammer, have two horns shaped like two brown forks on their heads, figure 37 left. They are anthropomorphic transcriptions, no longer fully understood, of the folk wooden poles used by the modern tribes of Assam, of Falkland, India, or of the island of Flores as sacrificial sticks for cattle sacrifice at the same time as memorials thereof. The carefully carved images, especially the ancestral figures and the household goods, and work by qualified artists, but the sketchy figures, as the elevation in case of illness and thrown away when no longer needed, are made by the priest. Those small primitive images, in spite of their lack of craftsmanship, sometimes succeed better in creating the impression of fervent feeling and animation than the laboriously executed ones, which invariably were an expression of unperturbed calm. The houses in northern Nias are built in oval shape, while they are quadrangular in the south. The marked inclination to create imposing architectonic forms, which southern Nias displays in its megalithic art, expresses itself too in the architecture of the wooden houses of the chiefs. The dimensions of the latter houses are remarkable. The house of the Siulu of Baru Mataluo, for instance, is about 23 meters high, figure 35. Probably in no other part of Indonesia has by building a chief such monumental style as here. Not only in the outward appearance, the column-like pillars supporting the houses, the daring construction of projecting walls, the audacious curves or steeply towering, powerful roofs create a genuine artistic impression, but the disposal in space too is effected with high architectonic skill and artistry and belongs to the best that has ever been achieved in architectonic art outside of high civilizations. The slanting light produces a most peculiar and attractive effect, as does the contrast between the skillfully carved symbols, exceedingly tasteful images of combs, helmets, and necklaces, etc., and the simplicity of the well-proportioned walls and columns, left without any other decoration. In some of the chiefs' houses, there are chest-shaped wooden thrones decorated with relief carvings of human images, crocodiles, rosettes, and geometrical ornaments, which may well be included among the best creations of Niasian art, figure 61. Unfortunately, our knowledge is not sufficient to attempt an historical analysis qualified to elucidate this remarkable bloom of the art of Nias. However, we presume that the overall form of houses in North Nias, the use of images for averting evil spirits and illness, and perhaps some stylistic plastic features belong to a culture more ancient than the megalithic and probably related to the cultures of the Nicobars and the island of Enggano. It was succeeded by the megalithic culture with its stone monuments and buildings, its ancestral figures and symbolic ornaments. The art born of the merging of these two heterogeneous layers must have been influenced in early times by Indian art, enabling it to rise far above its original niveau. Later influences of high culture, originating probably in Java, Sumatra or further India, and presumably dating back till about the 14th century or earlier, manifest themselves in the carved figures of Niasian swathills, showing motifs similar to the Hindu Javanese and Hindu Sumatran Makara, and even motifs from Buddhist legends, especially the Suttasoma Jataka. Still more recent influences of Javanese or Sumatran high cultures become apparent in some chiseled works, such as the stone canopy of Hilisimetano in South Nias. However, in spite of all foreign influences, the main character of the art of Nias is based on the megalithic culture and reveals with impressive lucidity the abundant possibilities inherent in the pre-Hindu megalithic art of Indonesia, ready to spring into full bloom once higher craftsmanship, a more true mastery of form, and higher spiritual aims offered the opportunity and inspiration.